Russian forces operating around Myrnohrad are increasingly resorting to unconventional tactics after repeated failures to smash through entrenched Ukrainian defenses head-on. According to the 79th Separate Air Assault Tavria Brigade, Russian troops have begun deploying quad bikes in growing numbers, using the small, fast vehicles and risky flanking maneuvers aimed at outpacing Ukrainian firepower and slipping around fortified positions. The brigade reported on March 1st that the battlefield dynamic along the embattled Pokrovsk axis remains extremely difficult. Moscow's forces, unable to achieve a decisive breakthrough through direct frontal assaults, are now attempting to outmaneuver Ukrainian units by pushing simultaneously from the northeast and southwest, a tactic the brigade described as an effort at operational encirclement. The message is clear: if they cannot break the line, they will try to bend it. The shift to quad bikes underscores both adaptation and desperation. Soldiers have observed a noticeable spike in their use across the Myrnohrad sector. Lightweight and capable of traversing broken terrain that would bog down heavier vehicles, quad bikes allow Russian assault groups to dart across shell-scarred fields, weaving through craters and debris. In some instances, Ukrainian defenders have documented 4 Russian soldiers crammed onto a single vehicle, a precarious human cluster racing toward the front. Yet speed and mobility come at a cost. The very design that allows quad bikes to skim across uneven ground also leaves them dangerously exposed. With limited protection and constrained maneuverability under fire, they present clear silhouettes against the bleak winter landscape. Ukrainian drone operators, particularly pilots of first-person view, FPV, strike drones, have seized on this vulnerability. Video released by the 79th Brigade shows precision drone strikes slamming into individual Russian foot soldiers and abandoned quad bikes, transforming improvised assault rides into smoldering wreckage. The broader operational picture remains complex and contested. A 1st of March battlefield assessment by the Institute for the Study of War indicates that Myrnohrad is fully under Russian occupation. However, Ukrainian frontline monitoring group Deep State presents a more fluid scenario, marking the northwestern outskirts of the city as a gray zone, a volatile strip of urban ruin where control shifts block by block, and neither side can claim firm dominance. The stakes on the Pokrovsk axis are enormous. As of mid-February, Russian forces had massed an estimated 150,000 troops in the sector, according to RBC Ukraine. Rather than relying solely on armored thrusts, Moscow has leaned heavily on small mobile assault groups equipped with motorcycles, buggies, and now increasingly quad bikes, probing attacks designed to identify weak points, harass supply lines, and gradually grind down Ukrainian resistance. At the center of this storm stands Pokrovsk, one of the most fiercely contested frontline cities in Ukraine over the past 2 years. Before the war, the city was home to roughly 60,000 residents. Its railways and road networks made it a vital logistics and transportation hub, a prize whose strategic value far exceeded its size. Following Russia's capture of Avdiivka in February 2024, offensive operations shifted toward Pokrovsk. By March 2024, repeated frontal assaults were underway, often at staggering cost in manpower and equipment. The battle dragged on with relentless intensity. Artillery bombardments pounded residential districts into rubble. Infantry assaults surged forward, faltered, and regrouped. Most of Pokrovsk was not fully seized until December 2025, nearly 2 years after the initial push began. Fighting spilled into nearby Myrnohrad, where Russian forces continued combat operations for another month before claiming control. Analysts from the Institute for the Study of War caution, however, that the fall of Pokrovsk does not herald an imminent collapse of Ukrainian defenses across Donetsk Oblast. despite Russian officials portraying the city's capture as a decisive step towards seizing the entire region. Operational momentum has remained limited. The anticipated breakthrough beyond Pokrovsk has not materialized at scale. Nearby settlements, including Hryshine, remain under Ukrainian control. Moreover, Ukrainian defensive lines further north, collectively referred to as the Fortress Belt, are heavily fortified after years of preparation. Analysts assess that Russia's slow, grinding advance has not yet created the conditions necessary for a rapid offensive against these entrenched positions. In strategic terms, Pokrovsk's capture was significant. As a logistics hub, it served as a critical artery in Ukraine's defensive network. But war is not won by maps alone. Territorial gains, especially those achieved at immense cost, do not automatically translate into sweeping operational freedom. Now, as quad bikes buzz across the torn fields near Myrnohrad, the battle enters yet another phase 1, defined not by sweeping armored columns, but by small, agile units testing the seams of Ukraine's defenses. Whether this tactical adaptation signals renewed Russian momentum, or simply a new method in an attritional struggle, remains to be seen. What is certain is that the Pokrovsk axis continues to burn as one of the war's most volatile and symbolically charged front lines.